Kamisama Kiss is a popular supernatural anime written by Juliet Suzuki that came out on October 1, 2012. Even if you haven't seen the anime, I'm sure you've heard the opening sung by Hanai. Today, I'd like to discuss a few tropes present within the anime. As it is a quite well received anime, I could hardly find any criticism for the show online. Hence, I wanted to make a video discussing a few problematic aspects of the show. Now, there are a few spoilers for season 1 and there's a trigger warning for essay. Discussion. The plot revolves around a teenage girl, Nanami Momozono, who is rendered homeless due to her father's gambling, and it is in such a situation that she meets Mikage, who, unbeknown to her, is a land god. He transfers his house and job to her. So then Nanami makes her way to his house, which is a rundown shrine, and meets his familiar, Tomoe. Cue the swooning ladies, including me. And for your information, familiars are those beings that are bound to serve a specific shrine or a god. Now, the rest of the show just follows Nanami, Tomoe, the two spirits of the shrine, along with a few other characters. Before moving on to the trope analysis, I have heard plenty of counter arguments regarding criticism towards anime, starting with the infamous it's just entertainment, it's just fictional, why are you over analyzing it, or it's just a cartoon, like it's just enjoy it, and that Japan has a different culture and that's why a few tropes may appear weird to you and all that. But as Theodore Ador once said, culture is only true when implicitly critical, and the mind which forgets this revenges itself in the critics it breeds. Criticism is an indispensable element of culture. Or as it says in the book, The Many Faces of Germany, at times culture itself civilizes barbarism, hence, criticizing problematic parts of one's culture isn't wrong. Returning to the topic, this isn't the first anime I've seen, and I'm quite aware of the fact that different countries have different cultures, and that something that might seem peculiar to me is their everyday life, and that is understandable. However, I don't think such arguments stand in the face of topics like sexual harassment. Things that cause discomfort to others and doesn't involve consent is always wrong, regardless of culture and country. Anime has a lot of questionable content, everything from blatant misogyny to essay. This is something that is inevitable, considering the fact that patriarchy is woven into the fabric of everything present today. That said, I think it's very important to call out instances of questionable behavior when we come across it, so that we can educate more people about such things, and also because fiction often seeps into real life. Watching a ton of anime can desensitize you towards certain, weird things. This is probably why I didn't even bat an eye when it is said that the male lead, Tomoe, is a fox. These kind of tropes kind of are quite popular in anime, and it may seem weird to people who are not familiar with it. However, even such things can be ignored in the name of creative freedom. Considering the fact that it is a well liked shoujo manga, I went into it expecting a good deal of romance, fluff, angst, the usual staples. What I didn't expect was essay. The method by which someone is made a familiar is through a kiss. And the recipients don't even have to be conscious. And that is exactly how Mizuki, another character, becomes a familiar by kissing Nanami when she's unconscious. And when she wakes up, she is rightfully disgusted, albeit it is still in a quite amusing manner. But after that, this matter isn't revisited again in the anime, giving the impression that it was supposed to be some sort of a comical scene. These kind of scenes, quite problematic, they're still prevalent in animes, some form of comedy or like an attempt at humor, I'd say. And the way Nanami makes Tomoe her familiar also involves a non consensual kiss, which, though isn't shown in much detail, it is clear she doesn't ask his consent and forcibly makes him her familiar. While even now, I'm sure a few people think of me as seeing way too much into a kiss or just nitpicking or that this is how the plot advances and all that. I don't agree. It is a clear choice made by the author to employ kissing as the method of transfer, when something as simple as a handshake could have sufficed. Additionally, the whole this has to play into the enemies to lovers trope where the characters suddenly fall in love after a sudden kiss claim as well doesn't sound true, as there is plenty of literature out there with this trope that doesn't involve non-consensual scenes. And also, romance can bloom during a respectful encounter. It is possible. Now, moving on. The next trope I want to talk about is the I will make you love me trope or the I will fight for our love. I believe the actual term is rejection affection. Rejection affection is when a character refuses to take any hints or outright rejections from their object of affection and they continue pursuing them. Now, these type of tropes, personally, I feel help in propagating the whole yandere mentality or the stalker mentality. Specifically, the one where the person can't take rejection and then they decide to stalk, kidnap, or even harm the object of their desire until they give in to the harasser, or ideally get a restraining order. And I've heard quite a lot of, I said no, but my soulmate kept asking me out. Now I'm married and I have 3 kids with them, and I'm so glad they did this. All those stories. And personally, if I expressed disinterest in someone and they kept pursuing me regardless of my feelings, I would definitely not be happy. And I realized that it is quite possible for people to experience a change of emotions and so on. But wearing down someone's resistance by constant harassment is not love. These are all, again, quite extreme cases, and while the anime ends with this type of feelings in between Nanami and Tomoe, she just shows, in my opinion, an extremely mild form of this behavior, and throughout there are instances where it is hinted that Tomoe also harbors certain feelings for Naname. So I have just watched the anime, I haven't really gone through the second season or watched the manga, so in my limited knowledge, I may have also happened to read their dynamic entirely wrong, and this may in fact be the forbidden love trope, you know. But either way, once I read the manga, I hope there will be more insight into their relationship. Once again, these are my opinions, and not agreeing with them is okay. I just felt like discussing the rejection affection trope and some problematic aspects of the show. Overall, discarding the few aspects that I just discussed, I genuinely did enjoy the show, and now I look forward to season 2 and the manga. Thank you for watching, and if you have any opinions, feel free to share them.